Hello students, today we will start new lecture of toxic work environment. All of you know the toxicity. What is the sense of toxicity? Toxic water, toxic workplace, toxic leadership, what exactly? It's one of the very critical context nowadays. You don't see this kind of situation everywhere, but some of places you can see that subordinates are not interested to talk with their seniors. That because of seniors they are not treating their subordinates in very systematic way. They are not giving good advice to their juniors. Unhealthy relationship, LMX, so-called bitter LMX, leader member relationship. Causes are many. Maybe one of the causes is that person job fit. Maybe one of the reason unethical leadership. But in this context, one of the symptoms of toxic environment, which is called as the workplace cynicism, is very new things for organizational researchers. I think this particular domain is well discussed in different fora, but lesser research in this particular area. Now, UG student, PG student or research scholar, what is the sense of understanding these kind of things? It's very important for every people, for their day-to-day life also. Cynicism is nothing, you have some kind of negative attitudes towards your organizations, your job, about your leadership, negative attitude, because that has been created by organization. That has been created by leader, because you are ostracized. Ostracized gives the birth of cynicism, and cynicism leads to withdrawal behavior. You must be knowing, I think that entire organization behavior, it is well connected. If you are not understanding whole things at a glance, you can't enjoy this paper, and you can't apply this kind of things in your real life also, and you may not be understanding what is happening in your life at the workplace. So cynicism is nothing, you have developed some of wrong attitudes towards the employer, towards the leader, about the organizations and about the job. How it is created, why it is created, who has created, from where this concept is originated, there is the matter of discussion. Now see some of points which we mean to discuss today. Origin, we will see origin, core beliefs of cynics, evolution, we will see, workplace cynicism we will see, workplace cynicism and its definitions, definitely we will cover all this part. And ancient time also it was practiced. Now see what is the difference between ancient and modern cynicism, and dimensions of course you are supposed to study, antecedents, consequences, strategies. I think these are all the things through which you can develop, because negativity, creation of negativity about the organization is very bad, because that disturb your personality, that disturb your career, and you may not stay one particular place for longer period. Ultimately that creates lower productivity, decline the productivity, of course the organizational effectiveness. One by one we will be knowing all kind of things. Now see, I think that all of maximum theory of organization behavior that is originated from Greece, that is the Athens, which was the learning temple of ancient history. Now see, 5th century concept. In Greece, people use this word cynic, which ideas to the extreme. Word cynicism that create from Chiron. Cynics acted like a god, barking their views, rejecting social norms. Now see, why I am studying this kind of things, although I quoted several times, this is the recent origin of discussion in Indian organizational behavior subject, because its real meaning is somewhat negative. Like as here, barking their views, rejecting social norms. Cynosarges, a place near Athens where they had their first school. I think this is the things through which you will be learning exactly what is the essence of Cynicism, what is the origin of Cynicism. Now see, core beliefs of the Cynics, because Cynicism originated from Cynics. By 2011 said that individual freedom is the most important. In Cynics, individual freedom is very important. Institutions like government and religions are unnatural and unnecessary. Used humor, dramatic actions to challenge society. Criticize wealth, power and social status as meaningless. Life simple, rejected material wealth, mocked social hierarchy, false honor, encourage honesty and natural living. Actually, Cynicism originated from Cynics, and that has the several meanings at different point of time. That modern Cynicism, negative attitude, originated from Cynics. It defines the freedom, it defines the honor, it defines sometimes, like as some of dramatic actions towards the society. So ultimately what says basically, that Cynics converted into Cynicism. This kind of behavior slowly and gradually converted into some negative aspect, that because of mocked social hierarchy, false honor. To catch my point? Now see, over time evolution into social and institutional Cynicism. Now Cynicism has to be seen in two different contexts, social and institutional Cynicism. Social Cynicism means sometimes we boycott the society, and then institutional Cynicism, something like that, sometimes we declare that leadership is not good, leadership has some kind of problems, and leadership is no more useful for us, and we are developing this kind of things. Over time Cynicism expanded beyond philosophy to societal institutions, become a tool for critiquing political corruption, corporate greed and power imbalance, shifted from individual rebellion to societal skepticism about organizations. Here is one of the word I have used, the societal skepticism. That means you are not sure of the meaning of certain things. If any policy framed by organizations, always you question, because some kind of doubt you have. And that is the modern sense of Cynicism. Now, workplace Cynicism in the modern era, negative attitudes toward the organization. Employees express distrust toward leader, management and corporate policies, belief that the organization lacks honesty and fairness, feeling that policies and decisions are self-serving rather than for employees' benefit, leads to frustration, disengagement, lack of motivation, can result in poor teamwork, low productivity and high turnover. And this is one of the modern things of sense of Cynicism. That means you are not believing your leader. Why I am not believing my leader? That because of leader is not focusing the benefit of employees, benefit of organization. This is the main reasons. Honesty, fairness is one of the lacking part of causes of Cynicism. Frustration, disengagement is very important construct of psychology, which is much dominant nowadays. That is so-called symptom of Cynicism. Now see, some of people given by different definition, like as Dean et al. 1999, 1998, Wilkerson 2002, Stanley et al. 2005, all have expressed their thoughts in different way. Like as first option, organizational cynicism occurs when an employee harbors a negative attitude towards their employer, encompassing three aspects: their belief, emotion and behavior. Then second definition, the belief that an employer along with its leadership process is dishonest, primarily focused on its own interest while showing little concern for its employees. Then Stanley has said it can be characterized by skepticism towards the honesty, reliability of the management. This is very important. We are in doubt about the leadership. We are not clear about the leadership, and you are not having proper competence, and you are not giving focus of the development of organization as well as employees. See, this cynicism, suppose particular leader focus on development of organization, that may not lead cynicism, but you are not focusing the organization, not the employees, but you are focusing on your individual growth, and that is the major causes of cynicism, whatever is practicing. So Wilkinson definition, Dean et al. Definition and Stanley definition all are expressing the same way, that cynicism, development of some wrong or negative attitudes, one of the negative behavior in organizational research domain. Now see, key difference ancient and workplace cynicism. I think that cynics, its real meaning is not something negative. It's something like that, critics about the organization, questioning about the organization, for the development of organization. Some of things we have identified: focus, individual freedom, rejection of norms, ancient cynicism, workplace cynicism, distrust in organizational leadership, aspiration, humor, public acts, rejection of wealth. And workplace cynicism, in the case of expression, complaints, resistance, passive and disengagement. Target, society, power structure, and the management workplace structure. Authentic living, self-sufficiency is the goal of ancient cynicism, and workplace cynicism, modern goal, fairness, integrity, ethical leadership. These are all some of difference basically, what way, ancient way we thought about cynicism, and modern way, modern practice of, modern symptom of cynicism. Now see dimensions of organizational cynicism, Dura et al. 2019. And I am students, this is my request to all, for understanding toxic work environment, you just see some of research paper. Already I have mentioned some of good research paper and other things for better understanding, because its shape and its structure is changing day by day. So being dynamic students and dynamism in this particular paper, and I am telling organization behavior, in fact it's very dynamic in the sense every times some kind of changes are there. Affective cynicism, it is a dimensions basically, refers to the emotional component of organizational cynicism, characteristics by feelings of frustration, disillusionment or resentment towards the organization. What exactly means affective cynicism? Feeling of frustration or disillusionment and the resentment towards the organization. That means you are hopeless in fact about the organizations. It is the affective practices. And behavioral cynicism is something like that, refers to outward expression of cynicism through actions like as sarcasm, criticism, mockery or passive resistance towards the organization. These are all the very important symptoms you will be seeing when you observe the different practices in different organizations. Sarcasm, criticism, mockery or passive resistance toward the organizations. These are all the sum of actions basically you can see basically, some kind of negative. I think that what can I say, that teasing about the performance of organizations, teasing about the leadership, and you just express something but its real meaning is somewhat different. And that is something like that behavioral cynicism. That means through behavior one must be knowing exactly we are not liking your organizations, disliking of your organizations. Now see some of points, antecedents of organizational cynicism. Cibro et al. 2013 identified the 5 different antecedents, reasons or predictors of organizational cynicism. Workplace cynicism, negative affectivity, trade cynicism, psychological contract violation, perceived organizational politics, psychological strain. I think either it is affective or behavioral, but thing is that some reasons are there why people develop some of negative feeling about the organization. The movement, very talented people, he has been appointed as particular certain company, but one particular day this kind of symptoms may not be developed, but some of reason negative affectivity. That means you are seeing all that cases, some of negative things are there. Trait cynicism, some kind of traits are there basically, in the mind of the some of superiors which may cause us, cynicism, psychological contract violation. Aspirations are not same, that the other party aspiration is not matching with the next party's aspiration. It is some kind of breach of psychological contract. Perceived organizational politics, it is very bad politics, good politics. If it is for the organizational interest, it is the good politics. If it is not organizational interest, there is the bad politics, influencing, following some of power and politics, framing some kind of policies, and getting work from other people, and that is perceived politics, psychological strain, some kind of psychological strain also, major reasons. These are all some of reasons, not the full reasons, complete reasons of understanding what I said, that antecedents of organizational cynicism. Now see consequences of organizational cynicism, Cibro et al. 2013. Now see low job satisfaction, lesser organizational commitment, higher turnover intention, lower job performance. What exactly that means basically, See, you are not having positive attitude towards the job. So what harm of that? You are working. And what is the harm of lower job satisfaction? But I am telling you that every context, every issue of organizational behavior, as I told, all are well connected. If you are lower satisfied certain period, that's okay. But if it is in long term, that creates some other negative effect, negative consequences, negativity in output. That very important. Lesser organizational commitment, you may have the lesser effective commitment. You may not be engaged with the organization in right way, and there may be the lack of organizational identification. You can't align individual goal with organization goal. High turnover intention is very important. Attrition is not bad, but intention is bad. Intention is very crucial. The moment you are planning to leave the job, that particular moment of time, you are not engaging yourself. You may not be committed in the organization. And that particular time, organization lose the performance of particular person, particular employees. So that has to be understood properly. Then lower job performance is very important part, lower job performance. That means your job performance, like as your citizenship behavior, your efficiency, and your tax performance, that may disturb, that because of cynicism. Now see strategies to reduce organizational cynicism, Cibro et al. 2013, Aslam et al. 2016. What way you can develop the positivity? I think there is a shortcut way to eradicate the complete sense of cynicism from your organization. It is not happened. Nobody can do that. And I think some of practices one can see, basically some of practices one can adopt. Now some of suggestions as per their research, build a supportive organizational culture. So not only organizational culture supportive, keep in mind what kind of culture is needed basically for development of organizations. This is very important, autocrat, democrat, supportive, but supportive in the sense that means win-win situation. That means you are supposed to help to employees as well as employer, like that. And as leadership, trust and credibility is very important things, leadership, trust and credibility, because so many people are there in organizations, so many leaders, so many middle level people, so many grassroots people, blue collar employees. So what sense of trust to be developed among the group of leaders, that's very important. Improve employees in decision making, improve organizational fairness is very important, not the justice. That means you just distribute your resource very scientific way among the different group of people. Avoid caste, creed, religion, everything. Don't try to give more benefits to certain particular group of people. So fairness is very important part, because that depicts somewhere, that is visible, what kind of fairness you are applying in your organizations. Reduce psychological contract violation, and I think that aspiration of both the group of people may not sustain for longer period unless you have the good leadership. And if there is violation of psychological contract, breach of psychological contract, that will be very harmful, and that credibility can't be attained. It's not possible. I think I've seen my experience in different types of research. Once you break the psychological contract, you can reshape it very right way. Its original shape is not possible. Although different techniques are there, different mechanisms are there, but things are not competent enough. Address job insecurity, employment uncertainty is very major concern. Minimize organizational politics is very, there is some parameter basically what type of politics are required basically in organization, through which we will have the moderate output, moderate performance of different group of people, implement employee well-being program, improve personal selection strategies. These are all some of strategies basically. It's not the permanent things, because diversity in workforce, that is changing frequently, and that is in very ultimate phase. And I think what level of diversity nobody can guess in coming days. And different types of research are going on. What is the ideal phase of diversity? What composition of male and female? What composition of boomer to zoomer? I think what composition of ethnicity? All these things matters basically, that creates the vibrant workplace. So some of suggestions are that. I hope that these suggestions will help you to mitigate the workplace cynicism in drastic way. Some of questions I have framed. Students, you can see these particular questions. If you go through the entire slide, then definitely you will have some idea what way you can respond to all these questions. What is the history and evolution of organizational cynicism? What are the dimensions of organizational cynicism? What are the antecedents and consequences of organizational cynicism? What strategies can be implemented to reduce organizational cynicism? In a nutshell, you just see theory, development, dimensions, antecedents, consequences, strategies, and that will help you to understand entire practices of workplace cynicism. Some of books, some of literature, or some of books is prescribed basically, which can help you to understand cynicism in right way. Very latest books, some of latest books, Dura, Chaudhary and Garib, M 2009, Organizational Cynicism and its impact on organizational pride in industrial organizations. Some of books you can see, Socrates, if you see the origin of cynicism, you can see that particular books, Cynicism and Morality. These are all some of books and some of research paper that will help you from established database. If you follow, then definitely you will be learning good number of things. Thank you very much.